A world at war.
Your victory.
A community at odds.
This is our island.
A man with a past to hide.
It's not our war.
And a woman with a people to protect. From the producers of Tanamera. Jason Connery, Vivian Tan, Richard Wilson, Howell Bennett, Josephine Burns.
What are you trying to prove to these people?
Blockbusting drama. Noel Barber's The Other Side of Paradise, next Saturday on TVS.
Was there or was there not a body? If there was a body, where is it now?
Michael Gambon is Maigret, tomorrow at 8:45 on TVS.
Mark, does your dad wash his hair a lot? Yeah, every day. And does he use your shampoo every day?
Johnson's baby shampoo with its unique No More Tears formula is so mild that adults can use it every day, leaving hair as soft and shiny as a baby's.
Anyway, Mum says that Dad uses my shampoo because he's just a big baby.
Oh, she does she?
Johnson's baby shampoo, mild enough for adults to use every day.
There is a food made in plants from the sun's rays, which has grown on Earth for 100 million years. It's a pure source of food energy. Its taste tells us when something is right. It forms part of the natural diet of virtually every creature, from the smallest to the greatest. It's one of the fuels for life itself. In what form do we know this food best? Sugar.
Thank you. And you won't forget to put the rubbish out Thursday evening.
No.
It's got to come very early on Friday morning.
Yep.
And you won't forget to let the cat out.
No.
Or the cleaning lady in.
Yep. No.
You will be all right, won't you, darling?
Probably.
That gator's here picking my eyeballs all morning. And I'm hankering for something bigger than Lady Liberty on a chip. And no darn chicken lip. You catch my drift?
Drifter, the two-fingered chocolate bar with caramel and wafer.
Passes the triple-A overhead manifold sprocket.
Big English, boy.
Do you catch my drift?
I'm Jake the peg, diddly-diddly-diddly, with my extra leg.
Get 3 pieces of Kentucky Fried Chicken for the price of 2.
Diddly-diddly-diddly.
This Sunday, the Sunday Times brings you your new television and radio listings magazine to help you plan your viewing and listening throughout the week. Also this Sunday, a comprehensive guide to the Cricket World Cup. The teams, the players, and the tactics. How's that?
Our son, Pat, is a bit nifty with a bat. Can run in a circle as fast as a cat. When he gets a little peckish, he takes off his hat. With 93% peanuts, he likes a bit of this, likes a bit of that. Sun-packed, fun-packed, our son, Pat. I'll kill him when I get my hands on him.
It's the ridges and the ruffles that causes the kerfuffles.
The Old Boy Network brings together 2 ex-MI5 agents.
Evening, Mr. Bond.
Italy, with a guess, Pisa.
Gosh, you're practically psychic.
Silicon Valley. Isn't that where they do the breast transplants?
No, Doctor, that's Hollywood.
An unlikely couple.
Oh, that'd be awfully sweet of you after that.
John Standing and Tom Conte in Old Boy Network. Tomorrow at 10:05.
Join me tonight when my guest will be Mick Hucknall from Simply Red, that gentle broadcaster Danny Baker, and the pride of Britain's finest acting dynasty, Vanessa Redgrave.
The news from ITN.
Kidnapper tells how he wept as he let Stephanie go. 3 Israeli soldiers hacked to death, peace talks threatened. Report says water industry may have been $2 billion too cheap. And French players banned as England go for the Grand Slam. Good evening. The kidnapper of estate agent Stephanie Slater has told police there were tears streaming down his face when he told his victim she was being set free. The new revelations came after detectives released more extracts from the letter he sent them. Psychologists say it reveals the mind of a psychopath.
Stephanie Slater returned to the bosom of her family a week ago after detectives completed their debriefing. Yet even she is only now discovering what her kidnapper claims happened in the final stages of her ordeal. 10 days ago, the kidnapper wrote a lengthy letter to police, apologising for what he'd done and claiming he was not the killer of Leeds teenager Julie Dart. Detectives who've studied the text carefully are still withholding some of the letter's contents for operational reasons, but tonight they made public further extracts. In one section, the kidnapper says, "I promised and gave my word to Stephanie that I'd not killed before, and that provided she did not remove her blindfold, she would be released." He claims that when he told her she was about to be freed unharmed, they both cried. Fortunately, he wrote, "She had her blindfold on and could not see my tears for her streaming down my face." Stephanie was eventually dropped off in a side street near her home. According to the kidnapper, he took the risk of being caught because Stephanie had told him of the love she had for her family. The man who got away with £175,000 also reveals that from an early stage he was convinced that his telephone calls to courier Kevin Watts were being listened to by police. Tonight, psychologists studied the letter. They pronounced that the man was without a doubt a psychopath.
He's trying to cope with the fact that his clever plans have damaged another human being. He thought he could cope with that, and he can only partially do so. So he's trying to excuse himself whilst also boasting about his skills.
Detectives too are cynical. They remain convinced the kidnapper and the killer of Julie Dart is the same person. Other senior officers doubt the sincerity of the sentiments in the letter. They warn he may well strike again before he's caught. Terry Lloyd, ITN, Birmingham.
Government sources said tonight that ministers have now agreed to give compensation to health service patients infected with HIV through blood transfusions. Compensation is already available for haemophiliacs, but the government has so far refused to extend the scheme to other sufferers. Sources indicated tonight that an announcement would be made in the Commons next week. Israel's defence minister hinted tonight that the murder of 3 soldiers by Arabs in the north of the country could affect Middle East peace talks. 3 Arabs armed with knives and axes broke into an army camp near Haifa and attacked the men in their sleep.
Tonight it's being described as the most serious and most ruthless attack on the Israeli army since the beginning of the Palestinian uprising 4 years ago. Late last night, Arab guerrillas slipped under the cover of darkness into this lightly defended army camp and using axes, knives and a pitchfork killed 3 soldiers and wounded another. 2 of the dead were Russian Jews who had recently emigrated to Israel. The attack has caused outrage in Israel, not only because it occurred on the Sabbath and was particularly savage, but also because it took place in Israel's heartland and not in the disputed territories of the West Bank. It will further damage prospects for the Middle East peace talks, which have already virtually ground to a halt.
The PLO is not opting for peace. As Israel is speaking peace with the Arab delegations, the PLO is speaking and acting war, terror, and violence.
We have to end the state of occupation. We have to create a situation whereby genuine peace can be achieved in order to eliminate the causes of violence and put an end to this whole cycle.
A massive search has been underway all day, but tonight, 24 hours after the incident, the terrorists have still not been caught. Robert Moore, ITN, the Middle East.
A report published today by the National Audit Office suggests the government sale of the water industry raised £2 billion less than originally expected. It says the sale did create 10 successful companies, but it may have suffered from being rushed.
Water privatisation did pose difficult problems, the report concedes, but it also criticises the way the government carried out the sell-off. Although the report uses diplomatic language...